But really, like, you got to think about the ropes that are holding you captive in life. I heard a story, it's an old story, but I heard it again this morning while I was working out, about how there was this guy who's always wanted to see elephants. He's never seen elephants before in real life, so he's always wanted to see elephants. And so he started researching how and where to go to see elephants, found out he can go to Africa and see live elephants in their natural habitat and this and that. Went to Africa and just was amazed at the size and the scope of the elephants. And it says he's sitting there watching them, and then he notices that on their feet, around their ankles, there was a small rope tied to their ankles that was tied to a stake in the ground. And the elephants weren't moving. They were just like, they didn't go, they only went as far as that rope stretched. And so the guy noticed that, and he went to the chief who was over the camp and everything, and he asked him, it's like, hey, how strong are these elephants? And the guy was just like, no, they're massive. They're like, they weigh tons, and their strength is just immaculate and this and that. And so the guy was just like, well, how come they have those little ropes around their ankles? How come they don't just kick them up? And I mean, they can just literally just walk, and those things will come out the ground. It says the chief started to laugh a little bit. It's like, well, when they were small, when they were babies, they put that rope around their ankles so that they couldn't, escape or get away, or to protect them, and all for all kind of reasons. So they put that rope around their ankles so to keep them in place. And so as much as they struggled and fought and tried to they just couldn't, because they were small. And he said after some time they just gave up. And they became conditioned in their mind that this rope is keeping me here. Like, I cannot defeat this rope. I can't go any further than what this rope will allow me to go. And the guy said, they quit. They were conditioned. And that got me to thinking that's, what are our ropes in life? What is your rope in life? And I know this feels like I'm going into like a motivational speech or anything, but really, like, you got to think about the ropes that are holding you captive in life. When you don't know, they don't know. The point is, the elephants now, as big as strong as they were, they didn't know who they were, and they didn't know their own strength. They were still conditioned into thinking that this rope held them in place. And in our world and humanity, that rope is our mind. Until we break the rope of our mind that's held us captive for all these years, the thoughts the things that were taught to us, that were taught to us directly or indirectly, things that we saw around our environment, that became a rope around our mind. And now we can't think outside of that scope of that rope. And that's who we are. And so what you have to do is you have to be told. Sometimes you have to, someone has to guide you and teach you, and you have to have an encounter to where someone tells you or something tells you and shows you who you are and how strong you are.